Sexy Beast, Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're going to be doing my top 5 favorite main Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies, so let's go ahead and get this shit started. So this is going to be everything from World War II to Black Ops 3, and we're going to try to at least include one Easter egg from every game. So coming in number 5 is going to be the Riese Flytrap Easter egg. Now this was kind of like the first Easter egg and really what spawned everything else that we see nowadays, because up until this point in Riese, there had really never been a step-by-step Easter egg. We had these little ones where like if you hold square on this, a sound will happen, or if you hold square on this, something else will happen, and we had all these ciphers and we had all these sound Easter eggs, but there was really nothing that was like a step-by-step one up until this point. Now even though this Easter egg is incredibly short, you don't really get a reward, I still love doing it, and 90% of the time when I'm playing Riese, I just happen to do it just because it's so easy and it's so cool. And even up through Black Ops 1, there were still tons of theories about what the next step to this Easter egg was, even though there was no next step. Once Samantha says game over, that is the game over. But there were just so many theories that carried over to Black Ops 1 about the next step. A majority of them revolved around Samantha's ghost. That used to be a popular thing back in the day, and occasionally Hitler's ghost. That was a thing every now and then too. But purely just because of nostalgic sake, and just because it's actually a pretty badass little Easter egg, this one will always be one of my favorites. So taking the number 4 spot is going to be the Origins Easter egg. Now the reason this isn't higher on the list is because some steps are kind of like ridiculously hard to do solo. And the main one that I'm talking about is the one where you actually have to get inside the robot and then jump out real quick and then run over and actually throw the G-Strike bomb into that little hole. That is so hard to do solo because you just have to be so quick. But other than that, I really do like this Easter egg. I think it's a fun one to do. It kind of sucks that it takes 20 years to fucking build the stabs. But besides that, I like all the other steps. It's a nice, fun, little challenging Easter egg. You get a good reward from it. And this was the first Easter egg that actually gave us a cutscene when you beat it. And they kind of carried that through Black Ops 3, so I am definitely grateful for that. But just one of the reasons I really enjoy this Easter egg is because it was one of the first ones you could actually do solo. Not a lot of Easter eggs you could actually do solo. Like Call of the Dead was like the first map to kind of experiment with that. But ever since then, they usually made you have 4 people, and I kind of like how you can now do the Easter egg solo. Because it's really sometimes just hard to get a group of 4 people that actually know what they're doing into a game. And it's just a lot easier just to go in solo sometimes. And one of the things that I just really like about this Easter egg is how you have Samantha sort of talking to you the entire time. And when you go into Zombie Blood, like you get a different version of her talking to you. And what I mean by that is like she has a different tone and like a different message to say to you. I like how she just gives you hints and tips and like talks to you about the storyline through the entire thing. I really do like the Origins Easter egg. It's definitely one of my all-time favorites. So taking the number 3 spot is going to be the Ascension Easter egg. So the Ascension Easter egg, definitely a great Easter egg, mainly just because it was the first of its kind. Now Riese is kind of what spawned everything, but this one was like the official first main Easter egg. It had a bunch of steps and it actually gave you a reward. Now the reward was incredibly shit, but it still was a reward, and that kind of spawned all the stuff we have nowadays. I still do think like the official best reward that we can get for after completing an Easter egg was the one in Buried. Even though I hated the Buried Easter egg, I still do think the rewards you got from that were the best. But back to Ascension, I like this Easter egg. The steps were very unique, and they were actually pretty fun to do. Even though it was a short Easter egg, it was very interesting to do, and it had like a nice little side story around it, how you're trying to save Gersh and how he was trapped in here, and how Samantha's actually coming to get him. It had a nice little interesting story around it, and it used a lot of aspects around the map pretty well, like throwing the Gersh device outside the map or standing in the pad for a minute. And I remember when this map first came out and the Easter egg was sort of first getting solved, everyone always thought that you had to have the ballistic knife for that step just because the ballistic knife was actually in the clock. So everyone was like, okay, you can't get the step done unless you have the ballistic knife. And it actually took people a while to actually understand that, alright, we really don't need the ballistic knife, we could kind of just do the step just by standing on here. And back in the day, it was a lot harder because nobody understood the concept of keeping a fucking zombie, so everyone would constantly just be sitting in this pad for like a solid minute while waves and waves of zombies are coming at us. Nowadays, you just keep a crawler, take them halfway across the map, and then come stand on this pad, but back then, it was mayhem, and it was really hectic, and it was just a really good time. So Ascension's Easter egg will always be one of my favorites just because it was one of the first, and in my opinion, even though it was the first, it still is definitely one of the best. Alright, and taking the number 2 spot is going to be Gorod Krovi. So I had to actually sit down and think, okay, which Black Ops 3 Easter egg do I want to be on here? And I ultimately decided that I think Gorod Krovi's Easter egg, in my opinion, is the most fun to do. Now a lot of people are probably going to be like, why isn't Der Eisendrache on here? Or why isn't so-and-so on here? It's just because I happen to enjoy Gorod Krovi's Easter egg a little bit more. Now when this map first came out, I absolutely despised this Easter egg just because I had to get footage of it and I had to record it and everything, and there was just so many videos that I had to do because of the Easter egg that I really just wanted to get it over with as soon as possible, and this Easter egg is actually kind of challenging. But looking back on it now, if I were to just play this Easter egg and do it for fun, I would actually really enjoy it. It does have that challenging aspect to it, and that final boss fight is actually really fun. This Easter egg isn't just so easy that you can just like breeze through it like the Zetsubo no Shimi Easter egg. This one actually challenges you through the entire Easter egg, not just for the final boss fight, The entire Easter egg is actually very challenging all throughout the trials that you actually have to do from Sophia up until the boss fight. This entire Easter egg is actually going to make you earn it. And if I was just playing around, not really worrying about making videos or anything, I feel like I would have the most fun doing this Easter egg because it's actually a challenge, and that final boss fight is actually really fun. It's hectic. You got Nikolai shooting back at you, you have your whole team running around like crazy, you have tons of different weapons that you're going to be using and tons of different gobblegums, you have things spawning in left and right. The final boss fight in this map is crazy and hectic, and that's just kind of why I enjoy it. Alright, and taking the #1 spot, if you've been a fan of my channel for a long time, you probably already guessed it, it's going to be Moon. In my opinion, Moon's Easter egg is the best. Now, it's not because of the steps or the reward or anything like that, it's mainly just because of the storyline. The storyline behind this Easter egg and the one that's actually going through as we progress to the Easter egg is, in my opinion, the best part of the storyline and the entirety of Zombies. The amount of information we learned and the amount of questions we got after doing this Easter egg was just absolutely insane. We finally got to see Samantha's face. Samantha actually goes inside Richtofen's body, and Richtofen is now in power of the zombies. And then we actually get to blow up the fucking Earth, and then we're just left there on a cliffhanger. We don't know what's going to happen next. And then we get all these like badass lines from each of the characters. Takeo, I believe, says he swears he'll destroy Group 935. Samantha says she wants her body back and she's going to destroy that evil Richtofen for taking Daddy away. Dempsey says all that work and all we did was blow up the Earth. What the fuck? And I really don't think Nikolai has any special quote, which is kind of sad. I mean, if he does, it's probably not that memorable in my opinion. But we get all these badass quotes, we get this badass cliffhanger, this badass storyline, and then they kind of fucked it up with Black Ops 2. But still, Moon's Easter egg, in my opinion, is the best Easter egg in Zombies, not just because of the steps or the Easter egg reward, but mainly just because of the storyline. So I'm very curious to know, what are your guys' top 5 main Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies? Now, your list is probably going to be a lot different than mine, which is totally fine. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's completely alright. So if you guys could, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Peace!